topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from experts on such topics as legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to our experts in community association law, estate planning law, tax relief, Medicare, public insurance adjusters, neuropathy treatment, business brokers, and personal injury law, along with many other topics. Now here's your host for the last 17 years, Steve O.
Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We have a show for the next 25 minutes, and of course, we want to welcome all of our new TikTok viewers and listeners. But for the last 17 years, there has been a topic that people have asked for that for some reason, and I put everything in God's hands, someone else beat this topic to the punch, completely different topic, but there's people out there that need help selling their business. And we found the greatest broker when it comes to mergers and acquisitions. It's called the Vant Group. And the more I talk with the founder, Alex Vantakris, I hope I said that right. I've got 12 letters in my last name, so I don't have any room to talk. But God, it's almost like God brought him to this show. And he's just a world of information. We are blessed to have him. Let me welcome. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Steve. How is everybody?
We are so blessed to have you. Alex, you are just, I got to tell people this. We usually do this by city and state. And after my first show with Alex and seeing all of your emails and texts, we made this a national show. We only have this with 3 of our other 30 shows, but this is worth it to have a show like this reach the whole country. Alex, tell people, because we got all these new people tuning in, tell people about yourself and the Vant Group.
Absolutely. First of all, real quick, I want to give all of this conversation to the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ. For those of you that don't know Jesus, he will make your life incredible. So, to business, the Vant Group. I've been selling businesses, buying businesses, and helping people value businesses for almost 30 years. I love doing it. I bought and sold a business and realized how hard that process was. And I decided that I wanted to go and help people through that process. We work across the nation. We sell businesses between $1 million and about $100 million. That's where most of the businesses around the country are. We sell all of the deals that we take on. We don't take on a lot of deals because we want to make sure that we are 100% successful. And we can talk later about how and why businesses don't sell. But our goal is to make sure that each client sells their business and also maybe wants to buy a business. I bought a business out of corporate America. A lot of people are doing that. Companies are trying to grow and expand. They buy businesses. And then lastly, our business valuations. Everybody should have an idea of the foundational value of their business. And our reports not only include a value, but a roadmap how to grow that business. And more importantly, what are buyers thinking is valuable? It's one thing for what a seller thinks is valuable, but really we're worried about the people that write the checks. So we want to make sure that your business is prepared properly, not only for sale, but to be able to be funded by a banking institute and to be able to close. So that's a little bit about the Van Group. There's 10 of us here. We've got an amazing team. So that's who we are, Steve.
You know, Alex, I wish I'd have known you 15 years ago when I was selling my business. And first of all, I want to tell people I was one of the dummies that try to do it myself. Big mistake. It was amazing. And I just want to say this one part. What I thought my business was worth, because it's my baby, basically. And then when I got a broker and they brought me down to reality, there was a big difference, Alex.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. You know, if you break your arm, you can set it yourself, right? You don't need a doctor. But how's that arm going to look after it settles? That's kind of what it's like when people sell their own business. And let me be clear. There are a lot of people that I have met that have the aptitude and the knowledge to be able to sell their business. But do they have the time, the emotional drain, and the ability to not step on a landmine? I don't think so. I truly don't think so. If you work with a professional investment firm like us, the fee, which is the whole reason why people don't want to use an advisor, pays for itself multiple times over. Everybody thinks that the number one thing they should look for in a sale is the price. That couldn't be further from the truth. I'll give you an example. Steve, if I told you I could sell your business for $1 million or $10 million, what would you choose?
10 million.
Exactly. But I left out the fact that it's $1 million in cash or $1 a day for 10 million days. Now, which deal would you take?
That's a big difference, Alex.
And there's so many of these subtle nuances in selling a business that if you're not educated enough, you may look at the shiny toy, the $10 million sale price, and forget about how you're going to get it. What is the legal documents that you're going to have? There's so many things involved, which is what makes our job so exciting. We're problem solvers, right? We're problem solvers. And in every deal, I can tell you there'll be a minimum of 20 to 50 times where something comes up from the buyer or the seller, and it's an inflection point. If we don't handle this one issue correctly, we'll never get to the next issue and we'll never get to closing.
Alex, we are getting inundated by questions. First question people want to know, can you sell a business in Canada?
That's a great question. Hello, neighbors in Canada. I was born in Canada. I love the Canadians. There are certain businesses we can sell in Canada, specifically if they have U.S. presence. But if they're a Canadian firm only, that is beyond our purview. But we've got many partners that we can refer them to. Great question. Great question.
You know, I never shared this with you. I did a lot of consulting with Bell when there was a Bell Canada, Edmonton, Yellow Pages, and it was so much, businesses were so much different. I mean, people who advertise heavily here in the United States did not advertise the same way in Canada. So it's a big difference, but that's really good to know. Another one is I love the stories that you have shared with us. What's your favorite area that you feel most comfortable in selling in a business, i.e. restaurants, landscape, etc.?
That's a fantastic question. I'm going to answer it with a general answer, and then I'm going to answer it specifically with industries. The deals that we are most successful in are the following. We have a seller that has created a trust with the Vant Group that they will listen to what we say. We value the business based on the highest justifiable value, and we agree with the seller on that value. Those are my favorite clients and businesses to work for. Now you would think, well, obviously everybody would be like that. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Now, within that purview, what are the specific industries that we prefer? I'm going to say it I'm going to answer it in a different way. There's about 5 to 10 roll-up industries right now. managed service, electrical, landscape, and plumbing. I could go on and on. There's about 10 different service businesses. Think of businesses that are very mom and pop-ish. Think of a little landscape business, right? Yeah, you've got a couple $1 million in revenue. You got good crews. You don't really have systems. The owner's just kind of doing what he can. There are national companies that can take that business and plug it into their amazing network and superimpose all of the managerial on top of that. Well, because of that, because there's a lot of demand, what happens when there's a lot of demand? The prices go up. So in those particular industries, it is easier to close, A, because there's an overwhelming amount of buyers, B, because the prices are a little bit elevated, and then C, if you're a landscape company and there's consolidation around you and you don't consolidate, you're going to kind of be left on the sidelines. So now it has a lot more motivation from sellers.
No, Alex, I don't think people realize all the legwork you do before you even realize your first dime. You do so, I mean, the detail, the due diligence, and I know that my phones, they didn't ring off the wall, but I had a lot of calls. The problem was when my employees would answer the phone and find out someone was interested in maybe buying the business, they all got scared. And that was another reason why, a factor that I hired a company like yours, not to have to go through that with my employees.
Absolutely. So 2 different points in that great statement. One is, yes, we do an inordinate amount of work up front. We have to think about this logically and rationally. I get paid a commission, 100% of my fee, other than a very small upfront fee, to put together the packet and all that. 100% of our value is paid at the end. Well, you're a smart businessman. Wouldn't you want to ensure that the product that you're going to ultimately sell will pass all of the muster that's needed from a buyer, right? Do we have all the financials? Do we have a clear understanding of the business? Has the business been approved for bank financing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So we look at the business as a buyer. We tear it apart. We make sure whatever we don't like as a buyer, we address in the marketing package, so that by the time we go to market and sell, which will take at least 3 to 4 weeks, we know everything that's needed from a buyer perspective to go to market. And that is one of the reasons we spend so much time. Now you're talking about confidentiality. Yeah, that's a very, very important issue. The last thing you want, first, is your employees knowing, and obviously your customers. Yeah. I will tell you, in almost 30 years, we've never had a breach on our end for a business for sale. We're extremely diligent on that process, because a business is like a fragile egg when it's selling. Anything that touches that egg that could break it, we try to put a hedge of protection around it.
I'm trying to decide which question to go to next. Here's a restaurant owner in Houston, Texas, Alex.
Go Rockets.
He said, I have listened to your last shows. I feel very comfortable with your knowledge. My problem is business is slow now. I think it's going to start picking back up once the economy picks up. Do I start trying to sell my business now, or do I wait till the economy picks up?
That is a fantastic question, and I empathize with that person. I own a catering business, and my business has tremendously slowed down, and I'm actually been thinking about selling it for years. So I'm going to give that person the same exact advice I'm giving myself. Bear down and get ready for a wait, because the last thing you want to do is sell your business on a decline. Although economic factors are obvious, and you can tell a buyer, well, look, Mr. Buyer or Mrs. Buyer, don't worry. The economy is going to turn around, and by then it'll be making a lot more money, and I want you to pay me on the amount of money that it's going to make. And the buyer is going to say, no, thank you. I'm interested in your business. It's going to take a lot for me to turn it around. Therefore, I want to give you a massive discount on the business. I can tell you unequivocally that's going to happen because I've seen it over 30 years. The issue is going to be how long do you have to own it to turn it around before you can really maximize the value? That's the issue. If you want to maximize your value, you actually need at least 2 years of solid tax returns. Now, if you have life circumstances and you can't do that, 1 year is enough. But just turn the roles around. When you go buy something, you go to buy a stock, for example, you want to make sure that stock has the ability to go up, and you want to buy it at the lowest amount of money possible. That's the same with your business. So let's say you only have a limited amount of time to turn the business around. What I will do, and what I suggest you will do, is before the slowdown, I had phenomenal financials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 year of turning it around, plus the prior 3 or 4 years, and basically try to exclude this interim period. Will it work? For some buyers, it will. It's not optimal, but that is the methodology I would use.
You know, you just gave me an idea. I think we should do a catering show this month, because I know from being in the restaurant business, there's so much to know about catering. There's so many business owners that listen to this show. And I think I'm going to twist your arm and see if I can get you to do a catering show this month. Because there's so much information, right?
Mm-hmm. Look, all these type of businesses are leading indicators for the economy, right?
Yes.
Certain things that are nice to haves, but not need to haves, right? People don't need catering; they can bring their own lunch, right? They can do. So yes, I'd love to talk about catering and the leading indicators in the market and just how difficult it is. I applaud anybody that has decided to serve the public with food and with amazing service, because usually you only get the complaints, right? You very rarely get the accolades, and it is just such a difficult business. You're trying to manage costs, right? What does that mean? You're trying to keep your labor costs low, not because you're a capitalist pig, but because you got to make sure that you're able to pay your bills. Well, as business owners, we love our employees. So of course we want to give them all raises. Well, what happens if you give everybody a raise and the costs go up? Then you got to raise the price for the customers. Well, now all of a sudden you got happy employees that have more money, but guess what? Now you don't have any customers because you've outpriced your product. So it's just like in any business, what I'm telling you is a tough balance, but specifically in the food business, because people that love the food business, they're truly artists. Instead of painting with a paintbrush or with a sculpture, they're painting with food, or they're painting with service. So yes, I would welcome a chance to talk about catering.
I think that would make for a great show. Alex, I don't know if you can do this in a minute, but tell people the difference between the Vant Group and other mergers and acquisition companies out there.
Absolutely. I'll do it as quickly as possible. I'll say it this way. We have established a place in the market where our name is known for honesty and integrity. Unfortunately, in my industry, like some others, that's not what we're known for. How did I establish that, and how does that make us different? We sell 90 to 100% of all the deals we take on. The industry average is 30 to 50%. Let that resonate with you. It's the same. We pull from the same pool of companies that are for sale, but for some reason we have over 2 times the average. Well, telling a business owner their value is a very difficult process. Very difficult.
Yes.
And what makes us different is we take the input of a seller when we sell our business, but we do not let the seller dictate our process. And that really is the number one difference. What do I mean by that? If we tell him it's worth $3.5 million and he says, no, it's not, it's worth $6 million. As much as I would love to make more money and more commission, We know how to price businesses down to the penny. And when we have a deviating factor, we have to pass on deals. When we go to the market, what else sets us apart? Remember I told you it takes us 3 to 4 weeks to put a package together? Our packages already know the questions that the buyers are going to ask, and they're already in the packet, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So when buyers look at our deals, immediately the seller has gained a level of trust because they see the information that's presented. And this is what they all tell us. You're giving me stuff that I can't even imagine you're giving me this early. Well, honesty and integrity is what makes our process go much, much smoother and much more successful.
Alex, how do people reach you?
Alex at thevantgroup.com. I think the phone number is coming through the bottom, 972-458-8989. And I want to be real clear on reaching us. We are not a transaction only. If you can't hire us today, we're not interested shop. That's not who we are. We are a relationship business. We have worked with sellers for years and years, just talking to them on and off about whatever issues they have that can help them increase their profitability, which will help them increase their value. So by calling us, if you ever just want to have a consultation, we wrote 2 books. You can email me for a book. One is called Entrance. It's for buyers. One is called Exit. It's for sellers. We like to be a resource of information for people.
Alex is with us the first Tuesday of every month at 10:25 Eastern Standard Time. And I'll bet you'll be getting a call from our listener in Houston with his restaurant. Alex, thank you so much. God bless you, bro. And hey, we're going to keep you in prayer.
I could use it, my brother. You know what? Actually, I'm going to lift everybody up on this call in prayer real quick. Dear Lord, for those that are listening that don't know you, introduce yourself to them. For those that do know you, Lord, increase their faith. We thank you and we praise you today. And Steve, another awesome show. Thanks for inviting me.
Amen, my brother. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
Watch for my email. We're going to set up our catering show.
Let's do it.
Folks, if you're thinking about selling your business, don't try to do it yourself. There's a company out there called the Vant Group. They're out of Dallas, Texas. V as in Victor. Vant Group. They are amazing. They will get you more money for your business than anybody. That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back again with you tomorrow with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.